Hello viewers, today for repair we have a Wahl cordless trimmer. This is model 8900. Not sure how old this is, but it's definitely pretty old. I would say it's at least 15 years old or more. The battery is finally starting to fail. And as is typical with these older nickel cadmium batteries, if you let it charge for a while, it'll work okay, but then a day later it'll be totally dead. And that's where this one's at. So we're going to replace the battery. It's more than served its life. So there's 3 screws on the back. And there's a sticker here, so it kind of opens up like this. And we have the internals here, and there is the battery. Of course, this battery is not intended to be replaced. The terminals are soldered on and screws in here, but if you're so inclined, it can absolutely be done. So the first thing we're going to do is remove this screw here. And this will release that terminal and the front part of the battery, and then we're left with the fuse and the other end of the battery. Now in this case, what I'm going to do is, because I believe that's like riveted on or something to the battery, I don't think it's going to come off. Maybe let's see if I can get it to come off. If I can get this to come off, then I'll just solder that onto the new battery. Looks like it will come off. Okay, great. Now we take this other side of it off as well. This isn't coming off anywhere nearly as easily as the other side was. This is the side I really need to preserve because it has the terminal screw on there. Let's see if I can just pull this off. Well, came off enough this tube, but still be useful. The next thing we have to do is figure out what kind of a battery this is. I thought it was a C, but this is a C, and it's not the same. So I'm going to have to get a different kind of battery here. See if I can find one that'll fit in there. I suspect that's a 1.2 volt battery, but I want to confirm that with the meter before I start just putting batteries in there. It is, it's going to be 1.2. Okay, so I think what we'll do, I have this battery, we're going to cut this battery in half, and we're going to use one of those cells. It's going to be a close fit, but I think we can make it work. Okay, these appear to be very stuck together. Okay, I think we're going to use this side of the battery because this side looks pretty clean. There is a little bit of some kind of a corrosion starting up there, so I'd rather use this side of the cell. It seems to be fine on both sides. Alright, so what we're going to do, that can be set aside for some other project, and let's see here, this, we really don't need that on there anymore. Now we need to solder this piece onto here, and since this will sit on here like this, okay, we want to solder it like that. Actually, we may have to do something different. This may not fit in there quite the same way that this did. It won't. So we're going to have to set the wire in there, or the battery in there, kind of like that on an angle. This will be fine, we can put that back, but this is going to have to get attached differently. You do have to use some caution when you're soldering to batteries. With a battery like this, it's not so bad because these are not the explosive kind, but if this was like one of those lithium fireball batteries, this would be kind of a dangerous operation. Now we have to do is connect the other side. This is going to be a little more challenging because there's not much space to work with. I may have to just attach this with a wire because quite frankly there's just no way to really solder the terminal on because you can't get the iron in between there. Maybe what I will do is I can cut this off right at the end and it will just connect the fuse and the other lead directly to the battery because we don't even need this anymore. That was far more difficult than it should have been, but everything is connected now. So let's try to drop the battery back in place and get it connected to the machine. Some of these wires are going to have to route a little differently. This wire is going to have to come over here like this and then attach on there. And this, oh jeez. Well, we know it works. This this will, let's see, probably could do it like that. I think we're going to do it like that. And just screw the terminal right onto there. Oh, and this too is going to be 10 times more difficult than it should be. Okay. Now the question will become, is the battery going to move around in here? It's not seeming like it. If it was, we'd just have to glue it down in place. But I think it's going to be okay. Now this has to be like that and sit in there like that. And then there's a gasket there, which I think should come up just to the base of where this shaft is to keep the hair out. Okay, and now we're going to close it up. Sounds much stronger than it did before. I don't quite see where that gasket is supposed to meet, but it's got to be doing something, I guess. Alright, now let's put the screws back in. much better. So that took some time. It's a little bit difficult. Ultimately it ended up being an AA cell battery that I put in there, but it worked, and this is ready to go.